YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, I have to make a part 2 of the previous video here so soon, just later in the week. There have been events and things that have come up that, require attention. So we're making a second video today over what's going on with Dr. Disrespect and if he's done streaming forever. And it seems like he says he's not, but we're going to go analyze everything and we're going to go see what really happened and what we think happened and what's going to happen. So a lot of stuff happening. So we're going to go over everything, but basically we're just going to go over some tweets about what happened today and what transpired since the last video. So basically what happened since the last video, we have found, let me switch to it. We have found that the original, well, that's not the right one. We have found that the original person who tweeted the accusations to Doc was hinting at he would tell the like he's a musician, and he was hinting at telling his audience that he would reveal why Doc was banned, trying to promote his shows before he came out with that bombshell accusation earlier in the week. So these are from several years ago when he made these tweets, basically saying that he would tell people why Doc was banned if they came out to a show, and then just this week he puts out the accusation towards Doc. So it doesn't make the accuser here, Mr. Cody Connors, it doesn't make him look good. It kind of seems like there's ulterior motives at play. That doesn't mean that he doesn't know anything, but it does seem like he was striving to get some kind of attention at some point. But earlier this week, Doc here put out that he was done streaming for a bit. So we're going to take a listen in, and we're going to analyze his thoughts behind him being done streaming for the foreseeable future. So this is...
I'm going to call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away. And I think when I say step away, I'm going to have to either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do. Right? I'm going to call it right there. A little short one.
All right, so basically, in a pretty emotional end to his last stream, he basically says he's done. He doesn't want to stream anymore. He's going to remove himself from streaming for the foreseeable future. But he needs to take a step back and go on a vacation, what he later says. And he needs to just reflect and reset, basically. And then it came out later in that day that Midnight Society, the platform that he co-founded, and who Robert Bowling here, so he's the head of Midnight Society. He's a studio head. Excuse me. And he basically said with Midnight Society, I can't really find it right here. I should have had it up. But basically he said with Midnight Society that he said, I'm now aware and dealing with it. He did say that. And then Midnight Society put out a tweet that said that they were terminating their relationship with Dr. Disrespect, even him being a co-founder of the development studio, that they were terminating that agreement or that relationship effective immediately. And that seems to be a mutual understanding with Doc, as he alluded to at the end of his stream. But then Robert Bowling says this is a statement from me personally. It does not reflect any of my companies. Has not gone through any legal or PR approvals. If you inappropriately message a minor, I cannot work with you, period. I promise to only act on facts, and I did. And so those facts he alludes to are what Doc said today. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. It's long-winded, so stick with me. It is a long tweet, but we're gonna read it all, and we're gonna analyze it here. So he says the Twitch ban, which happened 4 years ago, by the way. He says, hello, I'd make a quick statement, even though it's not really quick. He says, let's cut the effing BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone in Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I, and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. So pretty, pretty honorable, mutual understanding there with everything surrounding Doc. He doesn't want anything to blow back on Midnight Society. So whether or not he was forced to step down, according to Mr. Bowling, or if it was a mutual thing, either way, he's gone. Everyone's been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years, and that would be the result of an NDA that we referenced in the previous video. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages? This is the big thing, chat. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. And that's the real interesting sentence there, because no one really knows what that means. It says these were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. So they were starting to become inappropriate, and then that was it. Did they hit being inappropriate? We don't know. We don't really know. That's a very cryptic message. But he says nothing illegal happened anyway. No pictures were shared. So that no pictures were shared contradicts what Mr. Connors said earlier this week. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. And that civil dispute was initiated by Dr. Disrespect, not by Twitch. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me. No criminal charges have ever been brought against me. And that's important too. So he hasn't done anything that is illegal, and the state of California hasn't prosecuted him. But it was still enough that he felt begrudged by Twitch that he initiated into a civil suit, which is where all of where all the facts kind of came about, and more NDAs were signed, yada yada yada. I would assume. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll effing own my S. This was stupid. Now, with all this said, don't get it effing mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm not an effing predator or a pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me knows where I stand on these things with those type of people. Screw that. That's a different level of disgust that I hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get out of here with that. And I understand that's a pretty emotional response by him, like being able to see all of Twitter, X, and social media just completely demonize his character and demonize what he's gone through with very little evidence in the previous days. So I understand where he's coming from with that, but he's still, the answer is yes. He's still inappropriately messaged an individual minor, or it at least sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate. So I mean, it's kind of understandable why Twitter X would react that way. Even though they didn't know all the information that he said just then. It seems as though everything that happened with Midnight Society yesterday, how he abruptly ended stream, said he wasn't going to come back and all that, seems like there was something else going on. But he says that, but I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the best community and circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you have always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't care about you. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a, POS, that's fine. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake 7 years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want to disappear? Yeah, right. So it seems as though Doc is conscience is clear. His conscience is clear regarding it. Robert Belling's statement that I already said came after the fact. Regarding getting rid of him from Midnight Society. If you inappropriately message a minor, I cannot work for you. So that's a conflict of statements. So he's definitively saying that Doc inappropriately messaged a minor. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. And that's what Robert Belling and the Midnight Society team found yesterday. And then it seems as though Doc is sugarcoating it a little bit. Why does it keep doing that? He's sugarcoating it a little bit by saying these were casual, mutual conversations. And what? Nothing illegal happened. No pictures shared. That sometimes lean too much the direction of being inappropriate. So Doc is saying that they're not inappropriate, but they were leaning that way. And then his studio head that he presumably had a hand in hiring basically said they were inappropriate. So there seems to be a difference of opinion on what inappropriate means. And so we're going to get into the reaction here by Nick Merckx, who has come under fire a lot recently, just by his saying, leave the children alone. Last year, infamously, during Pride Month as well, when all the schools were, trying to teach LGBTQ agenda, and then there were fights between demonstrators and then parents. He came out and said something pretty viral, leave the kids alone, and it got a lot of flack. This year, he's kind of reiterating the same kind of points, and everyone was hating on him for kind of supporting the doc after Nick said there's really no evidence of it. So I'm not going to sit here and hate on him. So he got a lot of flack for that, and everyone was trying to expose him as being hypocritical. But today he had to say this after reading Doc's statements. Oh shoot! Basically, you guys can't hear it. I just realized that. Well, that is obnoxious. Let me see here. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
That
There we go.
he was texting an underage girl.
We'll start it over.
Yo, checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that he was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it, and look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do, So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
All right, so that's what Nick had to say about it. So it seems like he's he's basically doubling down on his leave the kids alone sentiment, even to the point of not accepting Doc's alleged behavior. And reading Doc's statement, Nick seems like he's, he says there's no excuse for something like that. I can't support it. I can't defend it. So he's still in support of leaving the kids alone, and he's standing by that, even in regards to someone that he's looked up to, played with, and shared a friendship with. So good on Nick for that. And then this is Tim the Tapman's response.
Absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing. I have known Doc for a while now. We've played games for years, and seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult thing for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate, if he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't. I appreciate y'all. This is beating me up, but this is unfortunate to say the least. This is awful. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love you give, and I'll see y'all soon, man.
So that's what Tim said about it. He's obviously pretty torn up about the whole situation, unfortunately. It's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal, but that's what they had to say about it. And so basically to kind of summarize here, it seems as though Doc incriminated himself to the point where he did in fact message an individual minor, as were the words that he put, and to the point where it was teetering, as Tim used here elegantly, teetered on the point of being inappropriate, whereas Midnight Society said that it was inappropriate. So we still are kind of in the dark as far as what inappropriate really means. But regardless, I said this on my Twitter earlier today as well. Regardless, if you're in a marital relationship, or if you have a relationship with a significant other, regardless of your sexuality, you must honor that person. You must honor your partner. And messaging someone without telling your partner about it, if it's non-platonic, especially with the messages that Doc was sending to someone who is definitely not of age, not a relative, and something that he obviously wanted to hide, that's not good. That's wrong morally. And so, to all you men out there, it's very easy to message people as in today's day and age. It's very easy. Like my parents, I said this on my Twitter video, my parents broke up because they got divorced because my father committed adultery, which started just by an innocent Facebook message. So it's so easy. Like, you don't have to send your letters on horseback anymore to be read. It's a cool way to do it, but you don't have to do it anymore. You don't have to throw a letter into your postal service on your way to work to say hello to somebody or say thank you to somebody anymore. You can message them, you can call them, and it can happen instantly. So be cognitive of who you're talking to and whether or not it honors your partner. If you and your partner want to set up certain boundaries to prevent certain temptations from becoming stronger, that is up to you. That is y'all's business. And I would recommend doing that if it becomes a problem. But outside of that, it's very sad to see what's going on with Doc. But basically, I think the moral of the story is don't look up to people like your heroes like this. They're still human beings. I went to DreamHack Dallas a few weeks ago, and I met some creators that I looked up to, and it's crazy because they're just people, man. They're just people like you and like me. Yeah, they might have more money. Yeah, they might be funnier. Yeah, they might look different, but they're still people. They're still capable of making mistakes, and sometimes they are even capable of making really horrible mistakes, like what Dr. Disrespect did here. He may not own it as a mistake. He says he's sorry to his followers. I don't know if he says he's sorry to his family or not. That's his business, whatever. But it's pretty evident here that this is going to be on him for the rest of his life and the rest of his content journey, as rightfully it should, because this is a pretty egregious offense. Even if there was nothing criminal in nature, and we alluded to that in the last video, even if it's not prosecutable by a state, and he lives in California, so even if it's not prosecutable by the state of California, it's still morally egregious and needs to be held morally accountable in some regard, whether that's him cutting stream forever. If he says he wants to come back and take a vacay and then come back, that's totally up to him. But regardless, he messed up. He messed up big time. And if you guys are the thinking, praying type, be sure to think about and pray for the victim and their family and what happened, because we still don't know the exact messages that were sent. We don't know how Twitch defined it as inappropriate versus how Doc defined it as inappropriate. We don't know why Twitch had NDA signed to keep it in the dark for this long. Either way, that raises some eyebrows that Twitch would keep that in the dark for a long time. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff yet to be uncovered about this, but as far as what Doc's mental state was at the time of the messages, it looks pretty damning, and it is. It doesn't just look like it; it is. And so that's another creator in the scene that people have looked up to that they've let down. So all that to say, I'm not saying that people should be more cynical or assume the worst out of people, but I am saying you should be careful. You should be very careful with how you go into your relationships, how you talk to people, how you go into communicating with a creator. And if you're a creator watching this, be very careful about minors in your chat, like coming into your Twitch chat or your Kick chat or your YouTube chat, whatever. And if they're not of age, obviously keep the relationship purely creator to a chatter and don't do anything else outside of that. I don't let minors, like a rule of thumb, I don't let minors into my Discord unless they're a family member and I know them personally. And even then I tell them, hey, these are the rules. We typically don't allow, people who are of age in here. And then I'm in an org that don't allow minors in it as well. We just avoid all that confrontation in general. We just avoid it in general. So I would encourage you guys all to do the same. And if people are minors, I wouldn't even, I'd hate to say ban them, but it might be for their own good just to get them out of chat. Just because, it's just a good thing, honestly, because sometimes streams can get very inappropriate and you can't control what people in your game say, what people in chat can say. And so it's I think it's more protecting of the minors to not let them be there. But that's basically all I have to say on this matter. We'll see what happens with Doc and how he comes back and everything, or if he comes back. Personally, I would stay out of this. I would try to find some other way to, make money or something like that, because I think his ability to content create will be permanently scarred by what he did, as it should. That as said as well, I think we should just learn to treat more people with love and respect, including our partners and people around us, and then these kinds of things wouldn't happen. So all that to say, thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and like the video. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have anything you want to say regarding this matter, comment below. Comment below. Tell me your thoughts. I would love to hear them. I would love to talk with you and engage with you guys about it. I do go live on Kick, @Heated_TV on Kick.com, and sometimes on Twitch, but mostly on Kick. Come say hey. Would love to meet you guys. Would love to chat with you guys. Y'all have a great day. Have a great week. And stay heated out there, and love one another. Peace and love, guys. Thank you.